Today, Katie Austin, BBC News.
Well, our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming, joins us now from St Ives, where, of course, the Prime Minister was hosting the G7 summit over the weekend. Adam, we saw him enjoying his role as host, lots of smiles on the beach, but today is a much more challenging, much more difficult day that he won't enjoy.
Morning, John. Yeah, after the high of a very successful G7 summit here in St Ives with the red arrows, the barbecue on the beach with the other leaders, the 1 billion doses of COVID vaccines being donated from rich countries to poorer countries, you then get the low of the Prime Minister having to do a Downing Street news conference later this afternoon where people will inevitably be disappointed by this month-long delay to the last stage of the lifting of the lockdown in England. There will be a few things to watch out for when the Prime Minister speaks this afternoon. What is the actual decision? Is it a delay to the date and the reopening will go ahead anyway? Or is it a delay to the decision, which raises the prospect of a further delay in future? Is there also any good news to sweeten the medicine, if you like? Any minor restrictions to make things seem a little bit less disappointing? There's lots of speculation today, for example, that you could have bigger weddings outside and maybe bigger mass gatherings, full stop, outside. Also, though, this will buy the vaccination programme some more time. It is going very quickly, and the number of people who've had their second dose is going up very quickly too. This means millions more will have that extra level of protection. Of course, though, that means in a month's time, if the numbers of cases and hospitalisations and deaths have not gone up by very much, the number of people with their second dose has gone up by a lot, then it will be much harder for the government to justify keeping these restrictions in place for any longer. And they will come under a huge amount of pressure from businesses and also a lot of Conservative MPs who are very, very worried about this delay.
OK, Adam, thanks very much indeed for now. Adam in St Ives, the Prime Minister's announcement, we think, is, what, late afternoon, early evening?
Absolutely. We'll be back there with him a little bit later. Can't resist looking at the sea, actually. But
I know.
Also here on the programme at 7:30 this morning.
Later today, Katie Austin, BBC News.
Talk about that right now with our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming, who joins us now from a rather wonderful St Ives this morning, which is looking lovely. So, there, of course, we saw the G7 summit, so much to come out of that, but also so many people watching this morning will want to know details about the delay that we are expecting to happen.
Yeah, and we'll get those details from a Prime Ministerial press conference from Downing Street later today, maybe around about 6 o'clock, because Boris Johnson has gone from St Ives to London and then he's going to Brussels for a NATO summit in the middle of all of this as well. But government sources confirming to the BBC that it's looking like that 21st of June date will be pushed back to July instead. There will be a few things to look out for when the Prime Minister speaks. What actually is the decision? Is it just postponing the decision about the reopening by 4 weeks, which means you could get another delay? Or is it that there could be a review point in a couple of weeks, depending on the data, and we end up with it being moved a lot shorter period than a month away? Also, are there any other tweaks? For example, the speculation this morning that maybe the limits on the number of people who could go to outdoor weddings, that could be increased, and you could get the number of people going to mass events increased as well, which would kind of sugar the bitter pill of the delay. But all of this would be to take account of the fact that the data shows that case numbers are increasing, that this Delta variant of the virus, which was first identified in India, is seemingly more transmissible. And also it's to give time for millions of more people to get their second dose of the vaccine, which will give them even more protection against the Delta variant and others. However, in a couple of weeks' time, if so many people have had their second dose, it will be very difficult for the government to justify another delay, especially to lots of Conservative MPs who are just getting really, really concerned and angry about all of this.
Thank you very much indeed. Just to let everybody know, including Adam, he'll be listening, at 7:30 we'll be joined by the Health and Social Care Minister, Edward Arger. 11 minutes past 6. So Wimbledon starts at the end of the month and you can whet your appetite this week at Queen's. Carol is there for the weather and gosh, it looks lovely there. It was beautiful in St Ives. What's going on, Carol? We love it.
Well, don't hold your breath, Lou, because it's not necessarily going to last the way that it has been. Yesterday, actually, for Wales and Northern Ireland, you had your warmest day of this year so far, but it wasn't the warmest day across the UK so far. Now, here at the Queen's Club this morning, it is glorious. The sun is out, there is not a cloud in the sky, and already it is pretty warm. And of course, as you say, the tennis starts here today. It runs all week. And it's going to be pretty exciting. Again, the Murray brothers, both of them, Andy and Jamie, are playing here. The weather, well, today the forecast is a mostly dry one across parts of England and Wales.
Carol, thank you very much indeed. And people will have listened especially carefully because you won't know this, Carol, but the graphics, we've got an issue, but we'll have them back for your next broadcast, fingers crossed. But we listened very carefully.
Oh. Thank you.
It's just sun everywhere. We don't need graphics for that, do we? It's just sun.
It's just a stunning weekend, wasn't it? So it's just coming up to 6:15. As we've been hearing, the Prime Minister is expected to announce a delay to the lifting of most COVID restrictions in England from next week.
Nina is in Halifax for us this morning to see how the news is going to go down with business owners. And, I mean, they've been waiting for an indication from the Prime Minister, haven't they? And it looks like this is what's going to happen, Nina.
Yeah, it's not come as a huge surprise, John and Louise. Just have a look where I am this morning. You'd be forgiven for thinking I'd ignored COVID restrictions and nipped off to Italy. No, I'm in Halifax in West Yorkshire, and this is the Peace Hall. So called because in the 1770s, hand loom weavers used to come and display their pieces of cloth, 300 little entries, and the hope was that would reduce fraud and theft. And now, in 2021, this place hasn't just survived, but it is thriving, or was pre-COVID. So there are around 40 independent retailers and hospitality venues based here. It's also a huge concert venue. They get 6,000 people in here. The Kaiser Chiefs were due to play here in just a few weeks' time, so obviously huge implications. Now, you might be thinking, what difference does a few weeks make?
Basic life support straight away. But it felt like so slow. I was like, oh my God, start chest compressions. As I was watching, it was so distressing.
Yeah.
Louise, I know you want to get me off, but mate, I can't believe you're going. Who am I going to have my cup of tea with now? I'm like, what is going? So I've got CPR that I'm trying to teach everybody now and my kids, as well as try and cope with the loss of you. I can't believe
you're so sweet. Listen, it maybe means we can have a tea in real life. Thank you so much.
True.
I loved it. Thank you so much, Nighat. Really appreciate it. We'll talk again. Don't worry.
Good to see Nighat this Monday morning.
Bring the tournament home, or one of the others. But of course, all of the players have started in their local parks, and you know there are 2,500 park courts. So hopefully, people will be viewers at home will be inspired to get on court this week as well.
Oh, well, Chris, we're looking forward to a good week of tennis. And of course, it starts today at noon, but on BBC Two from 1 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Carol.
And it's absolutely beautiful here in West London this morning. As I said, it's already 17 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky. And the forecast actually for this week for Queens is mostly dry to this effect. So the weather is changing. So enjoy it whilst you've got it, Lou and John.
Oh, we will do. Thank you so much, Carol. See you later. Thank you.
Now, it was the original wardrobe malfunction.
Look at the weather then with Elizabeth Razzini. Hello, good morning. It was very warm yesterday, and with all that blue sky and sunshine, we saw temperatures peak at 28 degrees Celsius in Heathrow and St James's Park, and we will see something similar again today. Now, degrees Celsius tomorrow. Some more favoured spots could get up to 30 degrees Celsius, but it won't be widespread. The winds are light, and of course, it will stay dry too. Now, overnight tonight, dry and sunny again. By the time we get to Wednesday evening, there could be some heavy, thundery downpours, and there's a Met Office weather warning in place.
I'm back with the latest from BBC London in half an hour.
Up their own capabilities. Secondly, some of those allies were really spooked by Donald Trump's attitude. They don't know he'll be in the White House in 4 years' time. They want to make sure that they themselves have a degree of independence when it comes to defence. So countries like France, Germany, looking at increasing their own capabilities. That the world is becoming more dangerous, less predictable, and NATO needs to adapt in order to survive.
Jenny, thank you very much. Thank you.
It has been the most gorgeous weekend, hasn't it?
Wow, wasn't it?
You've seen those pictures from Cornwall right through it. And again, this morning, the sun is shining. Is it going to continue in Cornwall? And for the rest of us, let's speak to Carol, who's at Queen's Club in London. Oh, the sun's shining there. It looks beautiful.
It absolutely is, John. Yes, good morning, everybody. Here at Queen's, the temperature is already 17 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky, and you can see centre court behind me. Now, the ground staff are about to unveil it for the first time for the men's tournament, which of course runs for a week. And the ground staff actually aren't as plentiful as they normally are. There's only about 2/3 of the number that you would expect. And it's the same for the fans coming in, the spectators. Normally there would be 10,000. This year there'll probably be around about the 2,000 mark. Now, it's only this week of the year that anybody plays on centre court. Normally you're not allowed to. The other thing you can see too are all the seats around this stadium. Now, it takes 6 weeks to erect all the seats, and it takes 6 weeks to dismantle them as well. And the seats are actually built on top of some concrete tennis courts. Of course, the club members can actually play during this week, but they get to enjoy the tennis instead. And it's looking like it's going to be dry for the first half of this week, but then we're likely to see some thunderstorms. But the forecast for today, well, that again is a mostly dry one. There will be that little bit lower, but that's not going to last, because on Wednesday we've got high humidity once again. Lou and John.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carol.
You know, we're always here monitoring messages that you're sending us and about the day's news coming in. Louise has just had a very important text from home. Was it one of your neighbours?
One of my neighbours walked past to see the rabbit was running around outside.
Is the rabbit all right? Can they get it in?
Hopefully the rabbit will go back. No, she normally does.
We'll bring you live rabbit updates throughout the morning.
Fingers crossed.
Is it one of your neighbours?
One of my neighbours walked past to see the rabbit was running around outside.
Is the rabbit all right? Can they get it in?
Hopefully the rabbit will go back. No, she normally does.
We'll bring you live rabbit updates throughout the morning.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Save the rabbit. Have you got a picture of the rabbit?
I don't know, actually. Well, hopefully I will when she comes back.
Yes.
16 minutes past 7. It's a huge day.
Dates throughout the morning.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Save the rabbit. Have you got a picture of the rabbit?
I don't know, actually. Well, hopefully I will when she comes back.
Yes.
16 minutes past 7. It's a huge day for the Tartan Army today.
And for rabbits.
Yep. Scotland is playing in the finals of a major tournament.
Whole generation, this is going to be a moment that lives with them for a lifetime, and we can't wait to get fans in here today and get the big match on the screens.
We're obviously in the middle of a pandemic, so slightly different as well. You know, what are the restrictions briefly going to be here this afternoon?
So all the restrictions you would expect to be in place are here. We've got socially distancing, there's only ordering by your table. Anyone who wants to get a COVID test before they come in can do so. There's a mobile testing unit on site, and fans are being sent test kits at home. So all the precautions are in place. This is, as the clinicians have told us, this is a low-risk event, and we hope that everybody who comes will follow all the restrictions and have a really good experience.
Yes, absolutely. So a big day here in Scotland. Many people will be watching it here, other people will be watching at home in the pub, and many school kids are also going to be allowed to watch it in school this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Alexander. That's why they call it a fan zone, because you are the fan, OK, in the fan zone. You'll have a bit of company later, though. Thanks very much indeed for now. Let's get more, though, on...
So at the weekend, when we were having the controversy about the fan zone, I said a drizzly 0-0 draw. I have to tell you exclusively that was a lie. I do not want a drizzly 0-0 draw. I want a very exciting 2-0 win.
Oh, fingers crossed. Professor Jason Leach, thank you so much. Good luck. That's good of you to join us this morning.
You.
You should have worn a shirt, shouldn't he?
I love the way that it's not a prediction, it's a wish.
Yes, exactly. It's a wish list.
Wishful thinking. Well, good luck, and let's hope that is what happens.
Indeed.
Above all, though, have they found the unity they need to take on a newly assertive, authoritarian China?
Our very own
At the end
Sue
of this
Barker.
picture postcard seaside summit, the host claims
Yeah,
success
I know. It's
on
done. I
vaccinating
know.
the world.
Isn't that
on a
great?
green
So
growth
she's
fund for
looking good for
developing
Wimbledon. It's
countries.
all.
Call her up again.
Beat me, that's for sure.
Sal, thank you very much indeed. It's 7:40 now. It's been a gorgeous weekend, hasn't it? And look, this is the view in St Ives in Cornwall this morning. After all the madness of the political leaders and the G7 summit, Cornwall gets itself back.
Perfect day for a swim. Not much surf around.
How much would you like to go and swim in there, Louise?
Oh, you can guess. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous there. Carol's got the weather for us. She's actually at Queen's, where it's going to be baking hot, and there'll be some tennis this week as well. Morning.
That's right, and Sue Barker will be here as well, looking good as she always does. Somebody else that's looking good this morning is David Law, who is with me here. He's the media director of the Queen's Tournament and also a broadcaster. Good morning, David.
Morning, Carol.
Now,
and then a real favourite of this tournament, the defending champion Feliciano Lopez. He won singles and doubles a couple of years ago alongside Andy Murray. In fact, he's had all sorts of problems. If you think over the last few years, he had his hip surgery, and 2 years ago he managed to get out on the doubles court with his hip resurfacing, his metal hip effectively, and still won the doubles with Feliciano Lopez. Well, he's back in singles this tournament. He's going to be playing tomorrow, and honestly, people are so happy here just to see him back because he's hugely popular as a person and as a player.
We missed it last year because of COVID. David, it's lovely to see you too, as always. Thank you so very much. Now, here at the Queen's Club in West London, the sun is beating down already. The temperature is 18 degrees, and the forecast for us today is a mostly dry one. We've got the UK into the high teens or indeed the low 20s. But worth mentioning that as we head through Wednesday later on in the day through till Friday, the Met Office has a weather warning out for thunderstorms across parts of England and also East Wales. John and Lou.
Oh, thank you so much, Carol. We'll see you a little bit later. We've got lovely views as well here. Thank you.
Yeah, we saw those pictures of St Ives, didn't we, live a few moments ago. It's been quite a weekend in Cornwall. The G7 summit might be over, but the county we can reveal for you this morning is planning its next big moment in the spotlight.
Yeah, leaders there have just announced they will bid to be the UK's City of Culture in 2025 because, for the first time, groups of towns can apply jointly for the honour.
Yeah, we're going to speak in a moment to a very proud ambassador for Cornwall. But let's, for a moment, see why pictures of that stunning backdrop for the G7 summit have been beamed all over the world in the last few days.
If that doesn't make you want to go on a holiday there, I just don't know what will.
And it's always sunny, isn't it?
Always.
It never rains.
Joining us now to tell us about why he thinks Cornwall should be given the nod is Great British menu judge and Michelin-starred chef Paul Ainsworth, who joins us from Rock this morning. How wonderful for you to be there. So just tell us about why Cornwall deserves to get this accolade.
Good morning, Louise. Good morning, John. For so many reasons. I mean, Cornwall's identity, its heritage is just so immersed in its culture. The culture of Cornwall is so rich, so diverse, and what makes it that way is its people. And when you meet, a proper Cornishman, and I just think people just love Cornwall. And right now, with the G7 happening over last week and the weekend, I think, we've done such an amazing job in hosting that, and everyone just gets together, and Cornwall's a very, very special place. Ingredients, everything, and the way it's done, the sustainability.
A bed in Cornwall, you can't get a tent spot in Cornwall for the next few months. It's going to be mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very, very busy, but you have to think that Cornwall, we don't have lots of big industries. That then has a domino effect on the fishing industry, the farming industry, because we're not able to buy the produce. So right now, the fact that we're open and we're trading and it's really, really busy, and it seems that sort of just everybody wants to be in Cornwall is a good thing, and we've got to embrace that for as long as we can because we need it.
Paul, okay, you might not want to give this away, but what's your favourite place?
I've been here 16 years and I never, ever take that for granted. Every time I get that time off with the family, I too feel like I'm on holiday.
Well, you've sold it. You didn't need to, but thank you. Paul Ainsworth, thank you very much indeed.
I thought you were going to say, I've been here 16 years and I'm never, ever, ever going to leave for a moment. Morning, everybody. Monday, the 14th of June. And we can speak to our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming, who joins us now from St Ives, which is where the Prime Minister was hosting that G7 summit over the weekend. Adam, we know he enjoyed being the host, but today he's going to find much tougher, isn't he? Because this is going to be a difficult announcement to make.
Yeah, John, after the barbecue on the beach with world leaders and the red arrows and the 1 billion vaccine doses being donated to poorer countries, it's back to the day job for the Prime Minister and dealing with COVID in the UK. And in an ideal world, he'd be doing a press conference tonight in Downing Street announcing that step 4 of the roadmap in England was going ahead, that nightclubs would be reopening on the 21st of June, the last few remaining bits of social distancing would be lifted and everyone would be heading back to their offices. That is now not going to be the case, and we understand that at 6 o'clock tonight he'll do a press conference where it's very likely he will announce that there'll be a delay to those decisions of up to 4 weeks. Although let's wait and see what the actual decision is. Is it a delay to the date? Is it a delay to the decision? Also, is there a review point in a couple of weeks where they'll look at the data again and maybe it could go a bit faster than we thought? We'll have to wait and see for a couple more hours because the government isn't confirming any of that stuff. And the reason it's happening is because of an increase in the number of cases and scientific data that shows that the Delta variant of COVID, first identified in India, is more transmissible than other versions of it. And also, it's to give millions of more people the extra protection of a second dose of the vaccine, as the Health Minister, Ed Argar, was explaining a little while ago.
If we're going at a run rate of about 250,000 to 300,000
Also, watch out for, are there any minor tweaks to the restrictions to kind of sweeten the medicine? There's lots of speculation that maybe outdoor weddings could have much larger capacity. But this will be very disappointing for the businesses that wanted to open further next week, and also to lots of Conservative MPs who think the government is just being far, far, far too cautious.
OK, Adam, for now, thank you very much indeed. That announcement from Downing Street this evening.
There is some. Oh, great stuff. We'll get more views from there later. So, Scotland faces...
And the whole squad is singing from the same hymn sheet.
Come on, Scotland. Come on, Scotland.
Jane Dougal, BBC News, Hampden.
She's been the most famous monarch for nearly 70 years, but it seems the Queen still knows how to put her visitors at ease. In fact, the US President said she reminded him of his mum. Here we go, Joe Biden and the First Lady, Dr Jill Biden, enjoying afternoon tea with the Queen at Windsor Castle yesterday evening after a greeting from a guard of honour. Afterwards, the President was full of praise for his royal host.
She was very generous, very... I don't think she'd be insulted, but my mother, she reminded me of my mother in terms of the look of her and just the generosity. And I said, ma'am, this is, it's a long time. She said, oh no. I said, I wish we could stay longer. Maybe we could hold the cars up a minute. So anyway, she was very gracious.
Clearly enjoying himself. So Cornwall had a really glamorous weekend thanks to the G7 summit, but neighbours in Devon have also had their own excitement. 2 queens, it's all going on. It's brilliant. Morning. And look at that trophy.
Thank you, Liz. Oh, isn't it fabulous? Good morning, everybody. The sun is beating down here at Queen's. It's a beautiful start to the day. The lawnmower's out as well. It wouldn't be a tennis tournament if there wasn't a lawnmower accompanying one of our broadcasts. But you can see this is the cup, the trophy that somebody will pick up on Sunday. It's a men's singles, and it's engraved with all the winners throughout the years. So you've got people like Boris Becker, Jimmy Connors, for example, and of course 5-time winner Andy Murray. So a few times that it has actually been played, the tournament that is, and when you see that, it's actually engraved here, but you won't be able to see it on camera. It actually just says in 1974 to 1976 not held, and of course it will be the same for last year as well because of the COVID restrictions. The tournament didn't take place. Now, the forecast today is a largely dry one, and it's also a sunny one. We do have some rain. For the southeast, it will be fresher tomorrow with highs of 26, but in the north, temperatures will be that little bit higher. But Lou and John, worth mentioning too, that the Met Office has out a weather warning from Wednesday evening till Friday evening for thunderstorms for parts of England and also East Wales.
Thank you very much, Carol, and what a wonderful trophy. We'll see you a little bit later.
When I said, do you fancy a cuppa, Carol, that wasn't quite what I had in mind.
Oh, this is my a cup, isn't it? That would hold a lot of tea, John.
Oh, I don't think it'll be tea, will it? Carol, thank you. See you later.
Thank you. 12 minutes past 8. So see you tomorrow.
Some of it, at least. 8:38.
Now time to vaccinate millions more people against coronavirus.
Let's speak to our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming, who joins us from St Ives, where the Prime Minister, of course, was hosting that G7 summit over the weekend. And Adam, it's a difficult balance for the Prime Minister, this, isn't it? Because he wanted to be making a big positive announcement about, the end of lockdown today.
Yeah, in an ideal world, the Prime Minister will be hosting a news conference in Downing Street today, saying that in a week's time we'll be going forward with step 4 of the plan for lifting the lockdown in England, which would have seen the last few businesses that are still closed, like nightclubs, reopening. That would have seen the lifting of the last few bits of social distancing advice and would see everyone being advised to go back to the office. That is now not happening, and instead the Prime Minister is going to be hosting a news conference at 6 p.m. with Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance to announce that that's being delayed for up to 4 weeks, so it will be pushed potentially into July. One of the reasons is because of the transmissibility of the Delta variant. It is more transmissible than previous versions of coronavirus, and also it's to buy more time to give more people the extra protection that is provided by a second dose of the vaccine, as the Health Minister, Ed Argar, explained.
If we're going at a run rate of about 250,000 to 300,000 second jabs being done each day, a month gives you roughly that 10 million, which closes the gap between the 29 million second jabs.
But there's a few things to watch out for when the Prime Minister speaks tonight. Is this a delay to the date or a delay to the decision about the date? And also, could there be a review point in the middle where the government looks at the data again and maybe comes to a different view? Also, will there be anything to kind of sweeten the pill? Any kind of minor restrictions that could still be lifted? There's lots of speculation that perhaps that there might be no longer a cap on the number of people that go to weddings outside. And also watch for the reaction. There's bound to be disappointment from the business community, the hospitality industry, that were hoping that the 1 metre plus rule would disappear for pubs, and also Conservative MPs, an increasing number thinking the government is just being far too cautious this time round.
Adam, we'll await that announcement at 6 tonight. Thanks very much indeed, Adam Fleming there.
Thank you for that. She has been the world's most famous monarch for nearly 70 years, but it seems the Queen still knows how to put visitors at ease. Welcome back, everyone. Now, when the Love Island presenter Caroline Flack took her own life...
Oh, I'm all the way through. It's funny. It's great.
Did you? And I do, I love endurance sport. There is something really lovely, isn't there, Bradley, about doing this, doing it as a team as well?
Yeah, it's all about the team effort. Sure, we made sure no one was racing off. And we had a few people at the back that were struggling, but we made sure we waited for them.
That was me.
Yeah, that was me. No, you did really well, Lou. You did really well.
I think you spoke to Molly on Friday, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Molly, bless her, she was really nervous about doing the whole thing. And she was so fit. She managed to do most of the peaks with us.
Was it 3 years ago? She didn't even do one.
Yeah.
And
so
she tried it before, so it's a really big achievement for her.
And the fact that she completed 7 in that one day was just incredible.
But yeah, we all stuck together as a team.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. We didn't want to go off individually. We all just kept together, and it was just really special. Something that we're all going to remember. We went for dinner last night, and it was a really emotional dinner.
We were all crying.
We all got up and we all said a few pieces, but you forget the people behind the scenes. They're all here now watching us, and they all had such a big part to play.
Well, listen,
I'm going to try and hold the emotion back now, but they were all fantastic.
Well done, all of you. Thanks so much for getting up early.
Everyone who donated and supported.
Yeah, go and have a lie down, lots to eat, and a warm bath. Top tips. You're brilliant. Thank you so much. If you want details of organisations offering information and support with mental health, they're available at bbc.co.uk/action line. And well done to all of them. Brilliant.
Yeah, congratulations then. Breakfast back tomorrow morning, as usual, from 6.
Right now on BBC One, it's time for Morning Live with Kim and Gethin.